Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to day 2 of CIE491, Developing Educational Entrepreneurship. My name is Alex Wiseman. I am your instructor for the class, and I'm so happy that you have made it through the first day. Congratulations. It must feel good. You've gotten everything started. You're off on the right foot. If you're watching this, you have already sent me your screencast from yesterday, so I hope that was a good process. Now you know what I'm going through every time I make one of these. It's not that hard, really. And what I want to do is I want to walk you through the Day 2 learning modules and assignments. So here we go. One, as you will note, hey, this is where the video will be eventually when I put it up there. So you've already gotten this far through the website. For our objectives today. Today, we're going to be looking at the way that social entrepreneurship can be education related and sometimes also international rather than domestic only, although that isn't really the main focus of the class. It will be a part of it since I am a part of the Comparative and International Education program. There are a lot of forms of social entrepreneurship, but really we have to think about where educational innovation comes in. So you'll note that a lot of the readings and a lot of the videos that you'll be doing throughout this whole course will really be focusing on the social entrepreneurship element of things. We are thinking about that, though, in terms of education, obviously. So I want you to think very carefully how educational entrepreneurship is a kind of social entrepreneurship. All right? So that's that first objective for today, the ways that educational entrepreneurship is a kind of social entrepreneurship. I'd also like for you to be able to think theoretically or conceptually about social entrepreneurship related to educational innovations. In other words, there's not going to be a whole lot of theory in this class because we're really very much focused on creating that draft strategic plan. However, I would just say this very honestly. I don't think that you can fully recognize or realize whatever your goal is or whatever your objectives are for your innovation unless you theoretically or conceptually understand how it is supposed to work or how it does work. So you have to be able to think about that. In particular, we're thinking about theories of change. How does change occur? And we're trying to think of ways that change can occur uniquely or, here's the word again, innovatively. Then we're also going to be obviously looking a little bit at what is particularly international about educational innovation or social entrepreneurship, although as I've said before, that is a part of this course, but it is not necessarily the main frame or focus. For our learning modules, remember I'm asking you to start at the top and go to the bottom every day that you're in this course. So that's the same thing that I'm going to ask you to do here. Start with Module 2.1, what is educational entrepreneurship? The very first thing I want you to do is watch this approximately 21-minute video by Mr. Khan, who's talking about using video to reinvent education. If you are not familiar with the Khan Academy, now would be a good time to familiarize yourself. Very, very helpful stuff that this guy does in his own Khan Academy, but really interesting ideas about how video can be an educational innovation, how he can be an entrepreneur with video. The other thing that I want to mention about entrepreneurship, which I don't know if I said it directly in the video yesterday, is that entrepreneurship is unique because it has two things. It has innovation and it has risk. Right? So innovation and risk. In order to be an entrepreneur, you have to do something innovative. You have to introduce something that hasn't been introduced before, or you have to change a way that something works that hasn't been done before. Even if it's the same general model, there needs to be something that is unique or innovative about it. The risk part can take on many different flavors. If it's something that requires some sort of a financial investment or a commitment, that risk is a financial risk. If it's something that could affect a reputation or that could potentially lead to lower results than you're getting with the current method, whatever that might be, that is a risk. But it's one of those deals where there may be risk and you may lose. But if you win, if you do it right, if that risk is a good choice, then the rewards certainly outweigh any of the risk that was there before, which is why it's worth taking the risk in the first place. So when you're watching this video by Salman Khan, I want you to think about how educational entrepreneurship, and his version with the video, has both the elements of innovation and risk. And maybe that's something that you could talk about in the comments at the bottom of the page. Next, Module 2.2, Conceptualizing Social Entrepreneurship and Innovation. So there are two readings for this module, one from the Kellogg Foundation, and I'm actually not asking you to read that whole document all at once, so let me update that. Look at that, it's just like magic. Through the magic of technology, it is now updated to reflect what is on the syllabus, which is always a good thing. So I'd like for you to read chapters 1 and 3 from this Kellogg Foundation Logic Model Development Guide. It's only 21 pages. You can click on it and get the whole guide right here. This is going to be a way that's going to help you start thinking about how to use a logic model to conceptualize social entrepreneurship and innovation. The Kellogg Foundation document is going to talk more specifically about evaluations, but I think that you can use it just as easily to think about how you will logically conceptualize whatever your innovation is. Next, I'd like for you to read a short document from Breast called The Power of Theories of Change. We talked already, or I talked just a minute ago, about the importance of conceptualizing social entrepreneurship and educational innovation, particularly through the lens of change theory. So this will be a very soft introduction to that, but I think enough to get you going. And then I'd like for you to watch this video. It's one of these entertaining videos that has all the drawings and stuff. I really do enjoy these, I have to say. I'd like for you to watch this video called Where Good Ideas Come From by Stephen Johnson, who will also be giving a conceptual model for how to think about where good ideas come from so that you can think about how that develops, how that's developing as you think of your own idea, but how you might also enable others to be entrepreneurs and innovate, especially if you're working with youth and children or your innovation has something to do with education, which I'm assuming it will. Next, in Module 2.3, we're going to talk about the challenges of change in education. And to do that, we're going to specifically focus on this section from the Bornstein and Davis book. The section in Bornstein and Davis that I want you to read is called The Challenges of Causing Change, and it's on pages 48 to 74. This is the required text, of course. And then I'd also like for you to watch this video called Improving Education Through Water and Sanitation in Bangladesh, and then BRAC, which I meant to have highlighted as well. So BRAC stands for the Bangladesh Rural Action Committee, I believe. I might be misquoting that. You'll read more about it in Bornstein and Davis at some point. Very important social innovation movement. One of the first and really a flagship organization when we think about social entrepreneurship. They do a lot with youth, children, and education. And so education is a key element of this entrepreneurial organization. This video talks specifically about how the school is helping to improve health through water and sanitation educational programs and facilities. And so it's one of the ways that we can think about how change is challenged. And one of the ways that we can add to our understanding of what a social innovation looks like through education. Finally, I'm asking you to read something that I wrote last year called What is International Educational Entrepreneurship? Or actually the module is called that. The title of the article is right here, International Comparative Approaches to Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Education. It gives you a little bit of an overview of social innovation and educational entrepreneurship, broadly speaking, which I think are quite frankly helpful and will be a good activity or good information to have as you move forward in the course. Okay, so those are our learning modules, and so each of those will be things that you move through in order from top to bottom, and then you will make comments on these sorts of things when you get down to the comments section. I'm actually giving you, I will talk about this in a second more, but I'm giving you some hints, some questions that might spur the conversation. I won't do this very much. I won't do this for all of the days of the class. I just wanted to give you some idea of the kinds of things that you could talk about in the discussion section. Okay. But let's go back up here. When you're thinking about the application activities, so what do you do with the knowledge and skills that you have hopefully gained through the learning modules? Well, one thing you're going to do for some of the days is a quiz. And you already took a quiz yesterday. You're going to do another quiz for today's assignment. I didn't answer this one already, so you can see what it looks like. I happen to already be signed in as AWW207. That is my Lehigh ID. You put your name in, you put your last name in, and then you start answering the quiz. And so those are the questions, those are the answer choices. When you're done, you click Submit. Voila, it automatically gets recorded. Next, you're actually going to start drafting sections of your strategic plan for whatever your innovative or entrepreneurial educational program and project is. This is the first of many. These will all be then combined on the last day of class into your final draft of the strategic plan for an innovative or entrepreneurial education program or project, whatever it is. This is the one where you take that idea that you talked about in your screencast yesterday and you start telling us about it. You're going to tell me specifically. I'm the first one who's going to read it. So I want this section to be titled Need and Opportunity. And I want it to have all of these subsections clearly labeled. Let me be very clear about that. Please include these clearly labeled subsections of the main section, Need and Opportunity. The whole section, all of this, including any references you use, everything, the whole section must be no more than 3,000 words long. Please don't make it more than 3,000 words long. All right? I will stop reading at 3,000 words. This is very important. This is going to be a behemoth of a document anyway. I have put these limits on here so that you don't write too much. It's, in my opinion, much easier to write too much than to write too little. So I want you to have these limits here. All right. So you're going to overview whatever you think the problem is. You're going to provide current trends, root causes, context, barriers, and then opportunity. I've given you in the italics here on the side some explanation for what each of these sections will include. I'm going to tell you right now that this book right here, Wolk and Kreitz, which if you click on this, which I will do right now, voila, you click on it, and there it is. There's the whole book. Anyway, that book is going to help you very much as you create your draft strategic plan. As you can tell, it's called Business Planning for Enduring Social Impact. So it is kind of operating on a business plan model, although we're social scientists, social innovators, and educators. So it's going to have a slightly different spin than if we were in the College of Business, but you still get where I'm going with this. Okay. So that book will help you as you think about these sections, because this follows that book's model for what the draft strategic plan will look like. Next, I would like for you to post in the comments and questions section, which is the bottom of this page for today, May 19th, day 2. I would like for you to post a substantive comment every day about the content of the readings and videos. I would also like for you to use this section to ask questions or post ideas about the written assignments as the course progresses. I'm going to give you some ideas for you to discuss on the discussion board for this first, for this day and also for a couple of other days. But really this isn't going to last long because you can create your own comments. I trust you. So for today, you might consider asking, how does Salman Khan's video from today's Module 2.1 help us understand educational entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. You'll see how that works. You'll see that actually in the response section, I've already provided a little primer, so all you have to do is hit reply, make your comment. Or if you want to make a brand new comment, voila, there it is. Finally, that's probably the last thing you're going to do. But if you want to look ahead, I encourage you to work ahead as much as possible. I encourage you to look at the Wolk and Kreitz book and just get an overview of it, download it so you have access to it. And I encourage you to ask questions and make comments. This is an exciting time for you in class. It's just starting. I hope you're having a lot of fun. Stay on task and you'll make it through with flying colors.